Hello, and welcome to another episode of Moments with Michelle, a special segment of the Her First Prioritizing You in Business and Life podcast, where my co host, Joanna, and myself are creating individual segments to connect with you, have a candid, raw, and unfiltered conversation about what's on our hearts or on our minds at the time. And today I want to talk a little bit about business products and programs, specifically what it is that you actually want to create that done business, how you should actually probably start doing that now. Hear me out. So I've spent a lot of time thinking about, when I get to this place, I will. Once I accomplish, then I will. It needs to look like this huge foundation and base, and I need to accomplish these things before I actually put out into the world and announce or do or try. And where there is something to be said about building the foundation, about leading up to, about prepping yourself emotionally, psychologically, physically for something that you're going to do. There's a lot having to do with the nervous system and getting yourself ready for exposing yourself in a certain way, being more vulnerable, creating a program that's like really on your heart as a big part of your mission, your dharma, your purpose, and what you're actually here to do. Sometimes we're not ready for that. I totally get it. I think that I went through a really big phase in my life of my personal development journey when I was struggling with anxiety and watching 8 to 12 hours of movie or binge watching television shows, Netflix, Emily in Paris, Bridgerton, Sex Life, like all of the things. I think before that, I wasn't actually ready for the coaching, the large number of people in my programs that I thought that I wanted, because I was sabotaging myself to a certain extent, and sabotage in that I was trying to keep myself safe. I was unwittingly pushing away those things that I thought that I wanted to build in my business, the quote unquote levels of success that I was working towards at the time. And so I was just almost hitting my head against a wall, or I was clashing against what I truly wanted and desired, what I was actually ready and prepared for. So if I got 84 applications to a 3-month program that I was running, but I didn't close any of them, I feel like at this point, as I reflect, that even though at the time I didn't think that was a success, I was giving myself more time and space to not welcome the people into the program because I probably wasn't really ready for that overall. So that was just a little tangent to let you know that that part I understand. There's a reason maybe that things are taking a little bit more time, or you need a little bit more space or more healing or something to kind of put in your tool belt in order to get to that thing that, again, is truly on your heart, your purpose, your dharma, your mission. But if I can come back to this idea, and what I'm here to talk to you about today is to just go for it. Just do that thing. Like, what are you really waiting for? Like, if you looked at it, if you really looked at it, if you under a microscope and was like, what am I really waiting for? For me, it's always been, okay, I have to have more experience. I've got to demonstrate my quote unquote success, which means I need to make X number of money. I need to fulfill this many client obligations. I need to reach this number of followers. I need to have this many opt-ins. I need to be talking to this many people, hundreds of thousands of people, before I actually qualify myself as an authority figure, as a leader. And that thing that I want to do, which for me has been like, okay, I want to translate this into a membership and I want to have these pieces to it. Oh no, but I can't do that yet because I don't have a big enough audience because no one's going to want to get into it. And then I have to wait and do these other things, but they're not really what I want to do. And you can see how you start spinning yourself into this cycle of not taking the action because then you're procrastinating, you're avoiding, you're not really fulfilling what it is that you're here to do. And it can just push away that thing that, again, you're trying to create for yourself. So, different ways to think about this. We have this idea, this concept of what it is that we want to create, but we think not now because fill in the blank. There may be a legitimate reason. Not now because I don't have the time and space or the bandwidth for it because I'm invested in this other area and this area is thriving for me and I love it. So I'm going to table that idea and I'm going to come back to it when I actually have the bandwidth. Cool. Awesome. Let's do that. Smart thing to do as a business owner, especially as a visionary, as someone who loves ideation and really feeds into the brainstorming process and comes up with all these beautiful ideas and concepts. We can't always do them all at the same time, especially as multi-passionate and very dynamic individuals, which I know you are. So what is the alternative if we're thinking of this big idea, this big concept? Now, thinking about it in terms of the because, right? I can't do this yet because there may be a legitimate reason. We just talked about a great reason, not having the bandwidth. But what if that because is not a legitimate reason? What if it's not so good? What if that reason is, well, I'm afraid of what people will think of me if I just put it out there and do this? Who am I to be doing this? I don't have the experience, the qualifications, the necessary engagements or things under my history in order to do this. Now, if you're going to be a medical surgeon and need actual technical skills to do what you need to do in your trade or in your profession, then I highly advise, obviously, you do that. But in the creator economy, very different ballgame. If you have successfully done something and it's not going to actually hurt anyone else by doing it, say crocheting or building a fish tank or figuring out how to DIY your home office, likely by teaching something, you're not actually going to hurt anyone. Obviously, power tools aside. So whatever it is that's kind of keeping you from doing that thing, if it feels like it doesn't really stand up, if it's not really a good enough reason, because you could just get rid of that reason right now, then I highly encourage you to consider it. What is that done business idea? What does that done product? What does that done program look like for you? And is it something that you can actualize now? Because putting it off might be the thing inhibiting you and keeping you from even getting closer to it. So I'm going to say that again. By putting off the done business product or program, it could be keeping or inhibiting you from actually getting closer toward it at all. So say, for example, you have a start point, ground zero, and you say that you want to get to 100 before you take action, before you do the thing. And then in order to take action and do the thing, that 100 set point will take you to 1,000. And you're like, well, I really want to be at 1,000, but I have to be at 100 before I get to 1,000. But then you're not doing anything in order to get you closer to 100 because everything from 0 to 100 isn't actually what you want to be doing, and you're not interested in it and you don't care. It's not important to you. It's not aligned with how you want to show up in the world. It's not part of your mission. It's not part of your purpose or your dharma. And so then you're avoiding the activities, you're procrastinating the activities, or you're just doing random ass activities that have absolutely nothing to do with getting to 100 and then beyond up to 1,000. So what if instead you transmuted yourself, you traveled to 100, said you were there already, embodied that, lived that way, showed up that way, believed that way that you were at 100, and then you were just that much closer and you could take the actions to get to 1,000. So then everything from 100 to 1,000 felt aligned. It felt purposeful. It felt as a part of your dharma and what you're here to do. And therefore you did not avoid, you did not procrastinate, you did not give up on. You actually put the time, attention, focus, you brought the energy, and you allowed yourself to embody what it is that you really actually want to be doing, how you want to be living your life, how you want to be growing your business, and getting you closer and closer to actualizing that 1,000 set point, that state of business and end goal that you actually have in your vision and in your mind. So instead of just staying at 0 and waiting until you get to 100, start at 100. There's nothing except you keeping you from doing that. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to internalize it, I'm going to think about it, I'm going to chew on it. And all of the products, programs, ideas, and ways in which I want to have my quote unquote done business, I'm going to start acting as if they're already there, which means I'm not going to spend the time or energy on the things that are just distracting me anymore. I'm not going to focus on the small products or programs that don't lead to that eventual goal. So what does that do for me in actuality? What does that do for my day-to-day? What does that do for tangibles? practical items that you can take away and why you'll benefit from this process. How you're going to benefit is experiencing simplification. So instead, over here where I was circling around the ideas of like, well, I could do this and I could do this and I could do that, and I have this retreat thing, and I've created this freebie opt-in before, and actually I've sold a few of these courses here, and then I've done this other thing. Instead of getting lost in all that and which way should I go, and now I'm being distracted with my content creation because I don't have a clear offer, and I'm sending people to all these different links and all of these different ideas, and people don't really actually know what I do, and they're not connected to the mission of what I'm showing up here to do. And instead, I channeled all of that into a simplified customer journey and process that they can walk down, that I feel really strong and solid about, because I'm not questioning why it is that I'm doing it or what I'm doing it for. I understand that because it's attached to that done thing, right? So simplification, that is one major benefit that's going to come out of thinking with the end in mind, visioning, ideating, and being in that space of embodiment of what that eventual thing is that you're creating, and acting as if in the present moment, letting that guide your direction. So simplification. 2, clarity. That everything that I just described brings a lot of clarity, because instead of cycling through indecision of what I want to do, I could go this way, I could go that way, but I really want to go here. And so, no, I'm going to put that out of my mind. I'm not going to think about that. Oh, that's too big for me right now. Oh, I could never do that. Who am I to do that? Oh, I'm not the authority in that. Oh my goodness. I'm going to put that out of my mind, but in so doing, it makes the decision-making process in other places more challenging, because I'm not actually letting my intuition, my alignment, my purpose drive me. I'm thinking more logically and rationally. So then I'm starting to weigh the pros and cons. So I'm looking at all of these options and sitting in that place of indecision. And then I'll go this way for a little while and try that out, and that doesn't work. And I'll go this way for a little bit and I'll try that out because someone else told me to do it. Or I'm looking to external validation in order to tell me which way to go, instead of just going to that done thing that I've wanted from the beginning anyway. So 1, simplification. 2, clarity. And 3, peace. Peace of mind specifically. Because when you have simplification, when you have clarity, when you're not running yourself in circles thinking about what if, how about I do this? I can try this. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go in this different direction. You actually allow yourself to take a breath, to calm, and to find peace in what it is that you're doing on a consistent and regular basis, because you've created the plan. It fulfills and aligns what you truly want in your heart of hearts, and you're going to stick to it because you understand the mission and the purpose of what it is that you're doing, why it is that you're doing. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Simon Sinek. So allowing yourself the opportunity for simplification, for clarity, and peace of mind. So where in your business and in your life are you compromising? Where are you trying to make something work that isn't meant to work? Where are you playing small because you think it's more important that you stay in that space before you get to the big leagues and actually do that thing that you're here to do? Where are you holding back? Where are you trying to fit into somebody else's model instead of just following your gut and your instinct and doing what you know you want to do and you were brought here to do? So ponder on that one. Thank you so much for joining me for Moments with Michelle, a special segment of the Her First podcast, Prioritizing You in Business and Life, where Joanna, my co-host, and myself share little tidbits of what we're thinking about, what we're feeling into, and how we can connect with you more candidly in these raw and unfiltered conversations. I'll see you in the next one.